Hi everyone, on this episode of Cooking with Cricket, I'm going to show you how I make my Panko Crusted chicken breast. Let's get started. For this recipe, you'll need 3 to 4 boneless, skinless chicken breast. Just for this demonstration, I'm going to use 2. So I set and take and trim off some of the excess fat. Once you get it trimmed up pretty good, then I set and take and cut each breast in half. With this that you cut off, you can boil it up and then feed it to your dogs or just discard it. Now I'm going to pound them down so they'll all be kind of the same size and the same thickness. So I take a piece of just plastic wrap. You can use foil or wax paper. Place a couple of them in there and then fold it over. And then I just take a rolling pin and pound them down. Once you've pounded down all of your chicken breast, set them to the side, throw this away, and always make sure that you go wash your hands real good before you touch anything else, because you don't want to contaminate other stuff or make anybody real sick. So I'm going to go get cleaned up and I'll show you what else we'll need. Alright, what you'll need to coat your chicken breast. First of all, preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Then I just use a baking sheet that I line with tin foil, and I do spray it with some non-stick cooking spray. You'll need 1 egg plus 1/4 cup of water. The reason why I do that is because all you're doing is just coating your chicken so that it will stick to it. So I just use the egg and then add a little bit of water to it to make a little bit more, and then you just blend that up real good. Then I have about 1 cup of flour. You can use plain or self-rising flour. Then I have 1 cup of plain panko breadcrumbs. That's just like a bigger, thicker type of a breadcrumb. If you don't have these, you can use plain fine breadcrumbs. That's fine. But we need to season up our flour. So we'll need 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. You'll need 1 teaspoon of black pepper. I just shake it in there. This really doesn't have to be exact measurements. Then I add a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. I add a 1/2 teaspoon of seasoned salt. And then if you don't have Cajun seasoning, you don't have to add it, but I add a teaspoon of that. And then just mix that up. And on your panko crumbs, because they're plain, you want to also season them up just a little bit with some kosher salt. If you don't have kosher salt, you can use plain salt, that's fine. And a little bit of black pepper on there. And just mix that up well. Now, on my egg wash, I always add a little bit of hot sauce to it. You do not have to do that, but we like it kind of spicy. So if you want to, you can add 1 teaspoon. Mix that up. So here you can use your hands, you can use a fork, you can use a pair of tongs, but I just use my hands. I take a chicken breast and first I place it in the flour. Shake off the excess. Sorry about that, that was my phone going off. Then I take it and I dip it in the egg wash and then lay it in the panko crumbs. Notice I have like a hand that I dip it in the wet and then a hand for the dry. You just place it on your baking sheet. I'm going to get these done and I'll show you what they look like before I put them in the oven. Once you get them all coated, just put them in your baking sheet, and you don't want them touching. If you're doing more chicken breast, make sure you get a bigger pan. But place these in a 400 degrees preheated oven. And remember, always wash your hands real good with soap and water after you get done handling raw chicken. Alright, our panko coated chicken breasts are done. It took mine around 40 minutes to cook. It could take yours less time or a little bit more time depending on the thickness of it. I always cut one in half to make sure there's still no pink. And halfway during the cooking time, I did flip it over. Even on that non-stick foil, it's still going to stick some. So what I would do when I go to turn it, I take my tongs and I shake it a little bit to loosen it up, and then I flip it. And you might want to add about a tablespoon of oil to your pan so that it browns up nicely. But I hope you enjoy it.